Hi, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for all those who have joined on this session for cancer awareness. A big thanks to the Cancer Aid and Research Foundation for this platform of the web so that there could be a big awareness for knowing what your enemies are when it comes to cancers. We are already going through difficult times with these COVID pandemic right now. 75% of the people are stuck at home for various reasons, for the lack of adequate resources, for uncertainty, for thinking about when would the vaccine be coming, and a lot of other issues. We will not discuss too much into details. Let me quickly introduce myself, colleagues and friends. My name is Dr. Deepak Chhabra. I'm a cancer surgeon practicing in Mumbai for the last 18 years, and today I will be talking to you about the various aspects of why somebody really gets into detecting how the cancers are or what kind of your enemies are. I work at Lilavati Hospital, Hiranandani Hospital at Powai, the Lilavati Hospital at Bandra, and Breach Candy Hospitals. I'm also affiliated with a couple of other hospitals where I'm a visiting cancer surgeon, namely the Asian Cancer Institute at Kumbhala Hill, which is in South Mumbai, the Sushruta Hospital, which is at Dadar, and the Criticare group of hospitals, which is at Andheri East as well as the Andheri West. So I think without wasting time, let me quickly get you on to the awareness programs for which you all have spent time to come into this web forum, and I will try and make every one of you comfortable. I understand that many of you may not be very well conversant with English, so I will try and speak in English and Hindi both for a quick understanding of what I am going to talk. So before I get on to the slides, let me also tell you that how we changed ourselves during these times of COVID pandemic. What we have done, there was a lot of uncertainty. People were not coming to hospitals. Of course, cancer is a big problem itself within these times, and to treat or not to treat cancer was a big challenge. Various cancer surgeons as well as the medical doctors for cancer have been trying their best to counsel all the cancer patients to try and take the best possible treatment. Guidelines have been formulated by the various societies of cancer for treating these cancers. But what we are talking today is about how must you be prepared to know what are your enemies for cancer. So, what are the common questions that are generally asked for cancer? सब लोग यही पूछते हैं कि ये क्यों हुआ, कब से है कैंसर मेरे बॉडी में, कैन कैंसर बी क्योर्ड, इसका क्योर कब तक होगा, हाउ लॉन्ग एम आई गोइंग टू लिव, बिकॉज एवरीबडी थिंक्स दैट कैंसर मीन्स डेथ, एंड डज अ सर्जरी और अ बायोप्सी कॉज अ कैंसर टू स्प्रेड. बहुत लोगों का ऐसा मानना है कि कभी कैंसर हुआ तो उसको नीडल टेस्टिंग या बायोप्सी नहीं करनी चाहिए, और अगर बायोप्सी कर दी तो शायद वो कैंसर और ज़्यादा स्प्रेड हो जाएगा. बट आई विल क्लियर दोज डाउट्स एज वेल लेटर ऑन. कैन ऑल्टरनेट फॉर्म्स ऑफ ट्रीटमेंट क्योर कैंसर. बहुत सारे लोगों का ये मानना है कि डॉक्टरों के पास जाना ज़रूरी नहीं है. हमारे पास नेचुरोपैथीज हैं या वेरियस अदर पैथीज हैं जिसकी वजह से कैंसर को हम ट्रीटमेंट कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज बड़े हॉस्पिटल्स में जाएंगे, बड़ी कैंसर सर्जरीज होंगी तो उस हिसाब से कैंसर और बढ़ेगा एंड कैंसर उस हिसाब से और कंटेजियस हो जाएगा. अगर मुझे कैंसर हुआ है तो क्या मेरे बच्चे को कैंसर होगा, विल माई चाइल्ड हैव अ प्रॉब्लम, is another issue, and how can I prevent from getting a cancer. So these are all couple of common questions which I have compiled. So let's learn certain things one by one. Okay, now if you have to see, अगर हम देखें what are the common types of cancers or what is a cancer, in short it is an abnormal mass of tissue. एक अलग से ही टिश्यू बॉडी में डेवलप हो जाता है जिसकी ग्रोथ बहुत अनकोऑर्डिनेटेड और अनकंट्रोल्ड हो जाती है, जिसको रोकना थोड़ा सा मुश्किल हो जाता है, और वो इस तरह से बढ़ता है कि वो ऐसा एक चेंज ले आता है बॉडी में जिसकी वजह से एक पर्टिकुलर लंप कहीं ना कहीं बन जाता है. फिर वो शायद बाहर की तरफ दिखे या शायद अंदर की तरफ दिखे, मुश्किल हो जाता है. अगर आप इस स्लाइड को देखेंगे तो वी बिगिन विथ अ नॉर्मल सेल जहां पे बॉडी के अंदर वेरियस म्यूटेशंस होती हैं. म्यूटेशंस के बाद दे गो थ्रू द फर्स्ट लाइन, सेकंड लाइन, थर्ड लाइन, एंड जब वो एटलीस्ट 3 और 4 लाइन्स की म्यूटेशन मतलब एक बॉडी के सेल्स में चेंजेस, एंड अगर वो चेंजेस हो जाती हैं तो वी लैंड अप विथ अ फोर्थ और अ लेटर म्यूटेशन. दिस इज नॉट द स्टेज ऑफ कैंसर, बट दिस इज जस्ट अ प्रोसेस ऑफ डेवलपमेंट ऑफ हाउ द कैंसर डेवलप्स. एंड अगर इस तरह से देखें तो ये नॉर्मल सेल इस तरह से हैं, हल्के से अबनॉर्मल बन जाते हैं, अबनॉर्मल सेल्स तेजी से बढ़ने लगते हैं, और फिर तेजी से बढ़ते बढ़ते ये ब्लड वेसल्स जो हमारे शरीर के जो रक्त वेसल्स जो बोलते हैं उसमें से स्प्रेड होना चालू कर देते हैं, और उस हिसाब से कैंसर के फिर सेल्स वहां से छूट के कहीं ना कहीं बॉडी के अंदर फैलाव हो जाते हैं, जिसको हम मेटास्टेसिस का नाम देते हैं. सो ये था इन शॉर्ट के. For that, I think man has made machines, and we have become dependent on the machines. I will just quickly go back to one or two slides and to try and tell you as to why should one bother to know about cancers. I was talking about that we have almost about 10 million cases in year 2002, and which has now increased to about 18.1 million new cancer cases in today's generation. This data is as recent as 2018 and 19 data, which is trying to tell us that there are more than 10 to 18 million cases, 10 to 12 million cases, which are now developing over the last 10 or 20 odd years. Just for all those who have logged in right now, my name is Dr. Deepak Chabra. I am a consultant cancer surgeon working at Lilavati Hospital at Bandra and Hiranandani Hospital at Powai, visiting at Breach Candy, Asian Cancer Institute at Kambala Hill, Shushrusha Hospital at Dadar, and Criticare group of hospitals at Andheri East and West. So why should one bother to know about the cancer, especially in the time आज की तारीख में जिस हिसाब से कोविड पैंडमिक चल रहा है, we are seeing बहुत बड़े बड़े नंबर्स आ रहे हैं हमारे सामने के केसेस बढ़ते जा रहे हैं. बट अगर उसके मात्रा में अगर हम कैंसर के केसेस देखें तो कैंसर के केसेस कोविड की मात्रा से कहीं ज़्यादा आगे हैं. एंड देयर इज़ रियली अ डिफ़िकल्ट सिचुएशन कि बहुत सारे लोग पैनिक कर रहे हैं हॉस्पिटल्स में आने के लिए कि किस हिसाब से हम हॉस्पिटल्स में आए, कहीं हमें कोरोना वायरस तो नहीं लग जाएगा. बट बहुत सारे पेशेंट्स ऐसे हैं जिनको कैंसर हो चुका है, और उनकी ट्रीटमेंट को डॉक्टर्स जो मेडिकल ऑन्कोलॉजिस्ट, सर्जिकल ऑन्कोलॉजिस्ट बहुत काउंसिल करके उनको हेल्प कर रहे हैं ऑल थ्रू आउट इन दीज डिफ़िकल्ट टाइम्स. So, अगर आप ग्लोबल कैंसर बर्डन देखें विच इज़ अबाउट 2018, एंड इफ़ यू सी लंग कैंसर्स, ब्रेस्ट कैंसर्स, कोलोन कैंसर्स, प्रोस्टेट कैंसर्स, ये सबसे ज़्यादा मात्रा में दिखाई दे रहे हैं इंसिडेंस वाइज कि ये इतने सारे कैंसर्स आ रहे हैं. बट अगर आप देखेंगे 18.1 मिलियन न्यू केसेस अगर कैंसर्स के आ रहे हैं तो ऑलमोस्ट 50%, दैट इज़ 9.6 मिलियन, 50% से करीब करीब ज़्यादा लोगों की डेथ हो रही है बिकॉज ऑफ दीज कैंसर्स, विच इज़ अ वेरी वेरी अलार्मिंग थिंग. And that is why we need to know what should be done for cancers. Now, is cancer common in India? Let's talk about India data. Okay, is cancer common in India? If we see our cancers in India, okay, the situation is that we have cancer as the cause of 12% of deaths, which is almost up to almost about say 1/3 of deaths which are caused because of long standing diseases. The other heart problems and diabetes do come into this category, but this is a chronic health problem. 1.5 to 2 million estimated cancer cases at any point of time in India. Every year, almost 8 to 10 lakh new cases are detected in India, and more than 5.5 lakh cancer patients die in our country. So as I was saying, that we are no far away from the global incidence. We are almost in the similar pattern that more than 50% of deaths are happening despite new cancer cases which are developing. The problem in India compared to the other countries across the world is that 70 से 80% केसेस जो कैंसर के हैं लेट स्टेज में डिटेक्ट होते हैं. एंड उसके बहुत सारे कारण हैं, वेदर यू कैन से लॉजिस्टिक्स, वेदर यू कैन से कि हमारे पास एक नेशनल इंश्योरेंस नहीं है, थ्रू गवर्नमेंट ने हर एक की ट्रीटमेंट को स्पॉन्सर नहीं किया हुआ है. हमारे गवर्नमेंट का जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर सेटअप है कंपेयर टू प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल्स, वो कहीं प्रॉबली शायद कमज़ोर है, जो प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल्स ज़्यादा उसे अच्छी तरह से ट्रीट कर सकते हैं. हालांकि हर एक डॉक्टर जो है वो कहीं ना कहीं गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल में से आगे आता है, और कहीं ना कहीं फैसिलिटीज़ देख के जिस हिसाब से हमको पेशेंट्स को ट्रीट करना है, जहाँ पे बेस्ट फैसिलिटीज़ हैं वहाँ पे डॉक्टर्स अटैच होकर पेशेंट्स को ट्रीट करने की ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा कोशिश करते हैं. नाउ, why should we bother to know about cancer? As I said, India, the incidence of cancer is increasing. हमारे यहाँ पे टबैको कंजम्पशन बहुत ज़्यादा है, लाइफस्टाइल चेंजेस आर डिफरेंट, population is aging, elderly population, now people have gone into a situation where there is healthy lifestyle, but at the same point of time with this healthy lifestyle people have started aging, so that the average what you call as the age or the life expectancy has increased from 55 to 58 to 60 plus now, and at the same point of time we also have increasing population. So बहुत सारे factors हैं. Let's come to certain other technical aspects. Now जब किसी को कैंसर होता है तो हम बहुत सारे वर्ड्स हमको पता पड़ते हैं. कोई कार्सिनोमा बोलता है, कोई ल्यूकेमिया बोलता है, कोई लिम्फोमा बोलता है, कोई सार्कोमा बोलता है. व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इट इज़? कार्सिनोमा मीन्स जो बॉडी के जो सेल्स हैं जो इंटरनल स्ट्रक्चर्स को कवर करते हैं वो सेल्स में से कार्सिनोमा डेवलप होता है. फॉर एग्जांपल लंग कार्सिनोमा, ब्रेस्ट कार्सिनोमा, कोलॉन कार्सिनोमा. कार्सिनोमा को एक अलग जो कॉमन नाम दिया जाता है वो है कैंसर. सो ब्लैडर कैंसर, प्रोस्टेट कैंसर, सर्विक्स कैंसर. दूसरा एक जो कैंसर होता है जो ब्लड के माध्यम में से होता है, और वो ब्लड के माध्यम के साथ साथ जो ब्लड के फिल्ट्रेशन ऑर्गन्स जिसको हम लिम्फ नोड्स बोलते हैं, जिसको कभी कभी कॉमन लैंग्वेज में नॉट्स बोलते हैं, तो कभी कभी ये नॉट्स बढ़ जाते हैं और कभी कभी सेल्स ब्लड के अंदर होते हैं जो ब्लड की तरह से चालू होते हैं. उन कैंसर्स को हम ल्यूकेमियाज और लिम्फोमाज बोलते हैं, जिनमें जनरली सर्जरी की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ती है. तीसरे टाइप के जो कैंसर्स हैं वो हमारे जो सपोर्टिंग स्ट्रक्चर्स हैं, जिसको या मसल्स बोल दीजिए, कनेक्टिव टिश्यू बोल दीजिए, बोन्स बोल दीजिए, मसल्स बोल दीजिए, इनमें से डेवलप होते हैं. तो ये भी एक प्रकार के कैंसर्स हैं, बट मेडिकल कम्युनिटी इसको डिफ्रेंशिएट करती है क्योंकि अगर मुझे कोई फ़ोन करके बोले कि सर मुझे कैंसर हो गया है, तो मुझे ये पता करना पड़ता है कि वो किस प्रकार का है. तो जनरली बोन कैंसर्स और ये कैंसर्स को हम सार्कोमास का नाम देते हैं. ओके, नाउ व्हेन वी कम टू इंडिया, What are the common cancers of India? High consumption of tobacco. ये tobacco जो है मुंह की तरफ से जाता है और स्मोकिंग की तरफ से सांस की नलियों में जाता है, तो कैंसर ऑफ ओरल कैविटी एंड लंग कैंसर बहुत कॉमन है. यही सेम चीज़ स्टमक कैंसर और इंटेस्टाइन कैंसर हमारे देश में काफ़ी कॉमन हो रहा है. फीमेल्स में अगर देखें तो ब्रेस्ट कैंसर कॉमन है. फीमेल्स का एक पर्टिकुलर पेक्यूलियर ऑर्गन है ब्रेस्ट, जिसकी वजह से उनको एक हार्मोनल इन्फ्लुएंस है. आई विल टॉक अबाउट इट. एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट फीमेल्स डेवलप ब्रेस्ट कैंसर, सर्विक्स कैंसर. देन देयर आर कैंसर्स ऑफ ओरल कैविटी, क्योंकि हमारे देश में काफ़ी ऐसे महिलाएं हैं जो खैनी और तंबाकू का भी इस्तेमाल करती हैं. गांव में अगर आप जाइए तो बहुत सारे लोगों के पास टूथपेस्ट नहीं है, तो वो गांव में इंस्टेड ऑफ नीम या जड़ी बूटी जिससे दांत घसते हैं, वो खैनी या टबैको से अपने दांत घसते हैं, और उनमें ओरल कैविटी के कैंसर्स होने का चांसेस काफ़ी ज़्यादा है. ओवरीज के कैंसर और कोलॉन कैंसर्स भी कम नहीं हैं फीमेल्स में. So, after all, why do these cancers occur? So, today we are going to discuss this कि cancers क्यों होते हैं शरीर में. So, let's talk about anything which is dangerous to our body. हम बहुत सारे films देखते हैं, हम बहुत सारे serials देखते हैं और हम उनको villains का नाम देते हैं. So, let's come to villain number 1. And as you can see in the picture, the first and foremost villain is the smoking. Okay, now why am I calling this as villain? Because if you see the number of cigarettes which are smoked per day, this is a person who is a non-smoker and this is a person who is a smoker. ऐसा नहीं है कि नॉन स्मोकर्स में लंग कैंसर्स नहीं होते हैं, डेफिनेटली नॉन स्मोकर्स में भी लंग कैंसर्स होते हैं, बट कहीं ना कहीं कुछ ना कुछ तरीके से स्मोकिंग कहीं ना कहीं से उनमें भी जुड़ी हुई होती है. और ये लंग कैंसर्स का रेस ज़्यादा करके इंडिया में फीमेल्स में शायद ज़्यादा पाया गया है. हालांकि इफ़ यू सी मेल्स आर स्मोकिंग मोर, but then the lung cancer incidence in females are high because passive smoking कहीं ना कहीं उसको definitely help करता है. So if you see the number of cigarettes which are smoked per day, अगर आप जितनी ज़्यादा सिगरेट पिए आपके लंग कैंसर का रिस्क उतने ही हिसाब से बढ़ता जाता है. सेकेंड चीज़, अगर आप देखें स्मोकिंग के अंदर क्या क्या है, तो अगर आप ये सिगरेट के केमिकल कॉम्पोजिशंस को देखें तो ये केमिकल कॉम्पोजिशंस में ऐसी ऐसी चीज़ें हैं जो शायद आप सुन के हैरान हो जाएंगे. आपने अपने सेल फोन्स में बैटरीज, टॉर्च में बैटरीज लगाई हैं, मोबाइल फ़ोन्स में बैटरीज जो लगाते हैं, जो वॉल क्लॉक्स में बैटरीज लगाते हैं, उसमें कैडमियम होता है. तो कैडमियम इज़ अ कंटेंट ऑफ दिस सिगरेट स्मोक. ब्यूटेन जो लाइटर फ्लूइड में हम यूज़ करते हैं इज़ अ कंटेंट ऑफ सिगरेट स्मोकिंग. एसिटिक एसिड विनेगर विच जो हम कभी कभी खाने में भी यूज़ करते हैं, कभी कभी किसी चीज़ों में रखते हैं डिस्ट्रक्शन के लिए, दैट इज़ अ कंटेंट. देयर इज समथिंग विच इज कार्बन मोनोऑक्साइड, आपकी कार के एग्जॉस्ट में से जो गैसेज निकलती हैं, दैट इज ऑल्सो अ कंटेंट ऑफ सिगरेट स्मोकिंग। जो पेंट्स हम यूज़ करते हैं घरों में बनाने के लिए, उनके अंदर जो केमिकल्स यूज़ होते हैं, दैट इज ऑल्सो अ कंटेंट। निकोटीन विच जो एक इंसेक्टिसाइड है, जो कीड़ों को मारने वाली एक काइंड ऑफ दवा है, वो कैंसर वो सिगरेट स्मोक के अंदर है। तो जो आदमी सिगरेट्स ले रहा है या सिगरेट सुलगा रहा है, cigarette smoking is injurious to health. If you see before every serial that you have on the screen, before every movie that you have on the screen, we are trying to spread more and more awareness about this cigarette smoking, because this is something which is really harmful to health. Unfortunately, we have started seeing that females have started smoking more than the males in our community, especially in the higher socio-economic strata, and which is not a very good sign. If you see this study, which is about a 20-year lag time between smoking and lung cancers, हमारे पास बहुत पेशेंट्स आते हैं जिनको लंग कैंसर्स हुआ है या जिनको कैंसर्स हुए हैं, और हम उनको पूछते हैं कि हैव यू बीन स्मोकिंग, एंड दे सेड यस सर वी हैव बीन स्मोकिंग, बट देन वी लेफ्ट इट अबाउट 10 years और 15 years बैक। तो स्मोकिंग एक आदत है जिसको छोड़ सकते हैं, बट इट इज़ अबाउट द सिगरेट स्मोक्ड पर पर्सन पर ईयर। दैट मीन्स द मोर नंबर ऑफ कंजम्पशन दैट यू हैव डन, इवन आफ्टर पीपल हैव लेफ्ट सिगरेट स्मोकिंग, इफ़ यू फॉलो दीज पीपल फॉर 20 years, देर इज़ अ कॉज एंड एसोसिएशन। सो जिन्होंने जितना सिगरेट स्मोकिंग किया है, उनका रिस्क लंग कैंसर से उतना बढ़ा हुआ है। अगर आपने 10 साल पहले भी सिगरेट छोड़ दी है, तो भी ये सिगरेट एक कॉज हो सकता है आपके लंग कैंसर्स के वजह के लिए। तो यू हैव टू बी वेरी केयरफुल दैट यू हैव टू स्टॉप स्मोकिंग एज सून एज पॉसिबल। हाँ ठीक है, ये एक दिन में शायद नहीं बंद हो, बट देन यू हैव टू गिव योर सेल्फ टाइम। आप अपना एक टाइम लाइन बनाइए, आप बोल दीजिए कि मैं 1 हफ्ता 10 दिन में सिगरेट छोड़ने वाला हूँ या छोड़ने वाली हूँ, एंड देन यू शुड बी एबल टू डू इट। जस्ट हैव द विल पावर। एंड इसकी वजह से कॉन्सिक्वेंस ये होता है कि पेशेंट्स आते हैं ब्रेथलेसनेस लेके, हमको एक्सरे दिखता है, और एक्सरे में ऐसा दिखता है कि ये जिस हिसाब से पूरा लंग ब्लैक दिख रहा है, कहीं ना कहीं ये लंग ब्लैक नहीं दिखता है, मतलब उसके अंदर हवा कम हो गई है, और हवा कम होने के कारण एक ये होता है कि वहाँ पे कहीं ना कहीं एक कैंसरस प्रोसेस डेवलप हो चुका है, जो फिर ऐसे स्टेज में पहुँच जाता है जहाँ पे ट्रीटमेंट बिकम्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट। सेकेंड फॉर्म, दैट इज़ द टबैको। अगर हम सिगरेट नहीं सुलगा रहे हैं, तो कहीं ना कहीं ये सब तंबाकू के मसाले जो हैं, और जो पान में मसालाज हम यूज़ कर रहे हैं, और कहीं ना कहीं हमको आदत है कि हम अपने लिप्स और हमारे दांतों के बीच में वो टबैको रखते हैं। और तंबाकू का सेवन आप देखेंगे कि बहुत सारे कॉमन लोगों में है, तो उसकी वजह से इस तरह से मुंह के अंदर छाले और कैंसर्स डेवलप हो जाते हैं। सो ये भी बहुत ख़राब है। विलन नंबर 2 इज़ अल्कोहल कंजम्पशन। Alcohol consumption leads to many cancers. Cancer of the oral cavity, cancer of the pharynx, which is the back of the throat, cancer of the voice box, cancer of the food pipe, cancer of the stomach, and cancer of the liver. So अगर अल्कोहल कंजम्पशन कर रहे हैं, तो ये सब एरिया का जहाँ जहाँ पे अल्कोहल जा रहा है, जहाँ जहाँ पे अल्कोहल अब्जॉर्ब हो रहा है, वो हर एक एरिया का कैंसर करने में क्षमता रखता है। So alcohol is bad. So if you combine smoking and alcohol, अगर आप पहले आपने स्मोकिंग देखा और फिर बाद में अल्कोहल देखा, लेकिन अगर आप स्मोकिंग और अल्कोहल दोनों कंबाइन करते हैं, तो इफ़ यू सी नंबर ऑफ ड्रिंक्स कंज्यूम्ड पर डे along with number of packets of cigarettes consumed per day, the more you have alcohol, the more you have cigarette along with it. बहुत लोगों को आदत है सिगरेट के साथ अल्कोहल, आपके जो इंसिडेंट्स हैं वो 4 गुना ज़्यादा बढ़ जाते हैं। सो यू आर एट अ 4 times हायर रिस्क इफ़ यू आर कंज्यूमिंग बोथ ए अल्कोहल एंड सेकेंड smoking. So if you have both, then it's a problem. So you must know, you may not develop a cancer today or tomorrow, but then definitely at some point of time down the line, when you develop cancer, you would have realized that you have spent lakhs and lakhs of rupees in buying a cancer for yourself. जो तीसरी चीज़ है, that is from the alcohol. And that alcohol can cause a big damage to the liver. You have a healthy liver which is looking like this. अगर आप continued alcohol abuse कर रहे हैं, you get into a situation what is called as an alcoholic hepatitis or alcoholic hepatic steatosis. Hepatitis means कहीं ना कहीं cells थोड़े से काम करना बंद करते हैं, but then उनके पास ऐसी ability है कि वो शायद फिर से regenerate होकर healthy हो जाए अगर आपने alcohol बंद कर दिया तो, which is called as abstinence. But कभी कभी अल्कोहल कंटिन्यूस यूज़ करते करते उसके अंदर फैट का जो डिपॉजिशन है वो ज़्यादा हो जाता है, जिसको हम हेपेटिक स्टीयटोसिस का नाम देते हैं। एंड अगर ऐसे सिचुएशन में भी आप बंद करते हैं एब्सटिनेंस में, यू कैन कम बैक टू योर हेल्दी लिवर। बट अगर अल्कोहल कंजम्पशन कंटिन्यू रहता है तो यू डेवलप अ सिचुएशन विच इज़ कॉल्ड एज लिवर सिरोसिस। ये नॉर्मल लिवर है और आपका लिवर जरा खुरदरा या व्हाट यू कॉल एज पेबल्ड स्टोन्स बन जाता है, जिसके सेल्स बराबर से काम नहीं करते हैं। हालांकि लिवर एक ऐसा ऑर्गन है हमारे शरीर में जहाँ पे सेल्स अगर मर जाते हैं तो लिवर एक ऐसा ऑर्गन है जो अपने आप को रीजनरेट कर पाता है, बिकॉज द सेल्स हैव द एबिलिटी टू रीजनरेट। एंड द प्रॉब्लम इज दैट व्हेन दी सेल्स हैव द एबिलिटी टू रीजनरेट, वो इस हिसाब से रीजनरेट करते हैं कि रीजनरेट करते करते दे ट्राई टू टेल यू दैट लुक वी आर मोर स्ट्रॉन्गर देन द नॉर्मल बॉडी सिस्टम, एंड दीज स्ट्रॉन्गर सेल्स then develop and function on their own and they form a cancer which is called as the hepatocellular carcinoma of the liver. So having a cancer of the liver itself is again a big problem. The third villain is obesity, motapa. This is also a big cause of cancer. It is responsible for about 4% of cancer deaths in men, 7% of cancer deaths in women. We see women are more obese compared to the men, and it becomes very difficult to understand exact cause. But body mass index अगर 1 से increase हो जाता है, so then you have 3% more increase in the risk of post-menopausal breast cancers. So females who have more fat, they are also at a risk of having breast cancers after achieving menopause. So what are the common cancers which are associated with obesity? There are breast cancers, there are colon cancers, endometrial cancers, esophageal or food pipe cancers, and liver cancers. Now, when you have fatty liver, when you have excess of fat in your body, you have either overeaten, you are taking a lot of drinks, or you are having an overweight, the excess of fat gets accumulated in your liver, which becomes an increased risk factor, as I was talking to you about liver cirrhosis, and then develop a liver cancer as well. So obesity is also related not only to postmenopausal breast cancers, but can also give rise to hepatic steatosis, and then you develop what is called as a liver cancer. Villain number 4, रेड मीट, लाल मांस जिसको बोलते हैं. So if you compare different datas of the country between who have consumed meat, there are these consumptions are higher in certain countries. If you see Japan, if you see Nigeria, if you see Finland, if you see Germany, the more higher the consumption of red meat is, more higher the number of cases of cancer. But this cancer with red meat association is found specifically for colon cancers, that is cancers of the large intestine. So we must curtail down red meat. There are a couple of people who want to eat red meat on a daily basis. I think we must cut down on the red meat. I cannot bring down how much in grams should be the quantity, but the answer is not every day for sure. Once in a week should not be bad enough. Villain number 5. If you see this person holding the globe, it is only trying to say that there are geographical variations. What do I mean by that? That there are certain cancers which are very common in certain countries. If you see lung cancer is high in United Kingdom towards London and other cities of United Kingdom. In Japan, you see this purple or the pink line. You have high incidence of stomach cancer. They eat a lot of smoked foods. They eat a lot of salty foods, freshwater fishes, freshwater aquatic animals, high content in salt. These possibly are the incidences of growing incidences of stomach cancer. If you see, there's a big amount of liver cancer in China. If you see in Australia, other way around, there is a lot of beaches in Australia, and because of a lot of beaches in Australia, people are used to going onto the beaches, remaining doing surfing, snowboarding, and what is called as snow worshipping, जिसको हम बोलते हैं कि धूप सेकना. So these are all the things, and because of that, they spend a lot of time in the sun, and they develop what is called as a skin cancer. Same thing in the United States, that there is a lot of meat consumption, and you are at a high risk of colon cancers. In Brazil, there is a high risk of cervical cancers, and I will come to it at why cervical cancer increases. The villain number 6 is viruses. If you see certain kind of viruses, there are viruses do play a role in cancer. Now, in times of COVID pandemic, we are too early to say whether coronavirus is going to be responsible for developing some kind of cancers later on. We really don't know. We are hardly in about 5 or 6 months. Up tak we are unsure about what is the right kind of treatment, when will the vaccine come, and so on and so forth. But there are viruses which have caused cancer. like a human papilloma virus जिसको हम HPV बोलते हैं, that HPV virus is responsible for causing cervical cancer, and there is a big virus, another virus called hepatitis B virus, and hepatitis B virus is responsible for causing liver cancer. Of course there are adult T cell leukemias, Kaposi sarcoma, ये हमारे country में काफ़ी कम है, but these are the viruses which can actually cause this kind of cancer. There is also a role of some bacteria which is Helicobacter pylori. They can cause a role in stomach cancers. So certain viruses can also cause these kind of cancers. Then there is villain number 7, which is pollution. And this pollution basically comes from industries. There are a lot of people who are working in mining industries, pesticide industries, construction worker, petroleum workers, rubber and chemical workers, shoe manufacturing, and some or the other, these patients get exposed to the dust, the fumes, the smoke from there. Arsenic is implicated in lung, skin and liver cancers. If you see leather dust, which is from the shoe manufacturing, is responsible for cancers at the nose as well as the urine bladder. There is something called as underground mining, जहाँ पे radon and radiopharmaceutical particles रहते हैं, and you are that can be responsible for lung cancers, and so on and so forth. So petroleum workers, then there are asbestos or construction workers, जहाँ पे earlier times we were using a lot of asbestos sheets to cover our houses, and these patients can develop the inhaled fumes of asbestos, and asbestos is very specifically known for developing mesotheliomas and some form of a lung cancer. So industrial pollution itself is related to cancer. Villain number 8, old age. Now, unfortunately, we feel that we are able to live longer because of a healthier lifestyle, because of a life expectancy being increased, because of various other reasons, whether you call it genetic. But sometimes you land into problem just because of age. There are so many people who come to me for treatment of cancers at an age of 74, at an age of 76, at an age of 80 plus, and I have also treated patients at about age of 90 plus and 93s, and they ask me, doc, why did I develop a cancer? And जहाँ पे family history नहीं है या कुछ भी नहीं है, and we can only say that they are the first people who have started with cancers in the family, and old age is the one which is possibly responsible for cancers. What kind of cancers are we seeing in old age? We are basically seeing more of breast cancers in females. We are seeing more of intestinal cancers in males and females both as the age increases. But this is something that it is a risk factor just because of aging. Does that mean should we die early? Of course not. The incidence is very, very low. You have to live your life, and I will tell you how do you live your life healthy. But at the same point of time, just because you have aged enough, there is a possibility of cancer. So I can't call this as villain, but I definitely will put this also category into one of the brackets of being the cause and association for cancer. Villain number 9, hormones. Now hormones are present both in males and females. So these are what we call as the sex hormones. By nature of the sex that God has made, males have a different hormones, females have a different hormones. So females get more susceptible to developing a breast cancer and endometrial cancer. Endometrial cancer is the cancer of the uterus lining, and prostate cancers in males. Now, in females, when we talk about females, menopause after age of 55, being younger than 12 years at the time of first period, अगर किसी बच्ची को period आ रहा है before 12 years, but it is going for long till age of about 55, तो आपका जो hormone exposure है, that is between age of 12 to 55, or say from 10 to 55, so you are exposed for a good 45 years to your hormones. And because these hormone influences are longer, then there is a chance of developing a breast cancer in such kind of women. So late menarche and early menopause, that means अगर periods late चालू हो रहे हैं and menopause जल्दी आ रहा है, that means your risk of cancer can reduce because your hormonal influences go in for a shorter time. So what are these hormonal influences utilized by? The hormonal influences are utilized by having an early first childbirth. If you have first childbirth at early after your marriage, having many children, this has been shown to reduce the risk of breast cancer. And why is this so? Because the hormones get utilized in bringing up the child, so that hormones are not acting on your body, but it is actually helping you for the growth of the child in your body. Then there are certain women who are taking contraceptive pills, especially those in the corporate setups, and those who probably don't want any unwanted pregnancy, and they depend on these one-time pills or some very casual affairs that they want to just take a contraceptive pills. But believe me, contraceptive pills taken with a high consumption rate can increase the risk of breast cancers. You may have taken it at about 20 years of age or 25 years of age, but then you may develop something at 40, 45 years of age. We don't have a direct association that yes, this is the cause, so that we cannot pinpoint it, but we have seen when we study so many number of cases and we study the epidemiological data and the demographic data, we have found that the contraceptive pills are definitely at some point of time linked to people with breast cancers. Breastfeeding is also important. There are many women who have children, but they are not able to breastfeed because of lot of pressures at the workplace, and they have to report to their duties. We are in corporate setups, and unfortunately at that point of time they are not able to breastfeed. But the point is, the longer the woman breastfeeds her children, the lower is a risk of breast cancer, because as what I was mentioning, hormones are important for the utilization and for managing your hormonal balances in the body, and that is why the exposure to your own body becomes lesser so as to develop a risk of breast cancer. Villain number 10. If you see, there are three pictures, and all the three pictures are talking about generation. This is the eldest lady, this is the younger lady, this is the youngest lady. So you have a mother, you have a daughter, and you have a granddaughter, which is what I'm trying to talk about, that sometimes you can have gene mutations. That means there is something which is running in the genes. There is something which is running in the family. If your mother has a breast cancer, you are at a higher risk of developing breast cancer because of genetic mutations. Now, nothing of this is in your hand. Unfortunately, it is a gene mutation which is running in the family at a very, very cellular level. And even if you are living a healthiest lifestyle, it is these genetic factors which bring kind of cancers in your body. What are the cancers that can be passed on because of hereditary? One of them is a colon cancer, second is a breast cancer, third is the ovary cancer, fourth is the skin cancer, fifth is the prostate cancer. Generally, these are 4 or 5 cancers which actually run into the hereditary and then are responsible for causing cancer in a particular person. It is not necessary for your mother to have a cancer. It is likely that maybe your grandmother never had a cancer, but maybe your grandmother's mother had a cancer. So it is not necessary that every generation must have a cancer, but yes, we have a specific mutation called as HNPCC and an APC gene, jahan par cancers are common in the colon or the large intestine. I have treated families where I have treated the father, I have treated the son, and I have treated his son, and these are generations of people who come with cancers of the intestine. So why does it occur? As I told you, that these are inherited factors. So if you see, this is a list of all breast cancer patients, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you have 20 of these breast cancer patients, but it is likely that only one of them may possibly have an inherited factor. Baki 19 लोगों में शायद inherited factors नहीं हो. So it is not necessary that if you are the first person in your family to develop a breast cancer, your daughter will definitely develop a breast cancer. No. Answer is no. We do not know genetic level. So unless and until the family progresses, or we see 2 or 3 cases in the family in subsequent generations, we will not label these cancers as hereditary cancers. So the factors which are believed to contribute to global causes of cancer, if you have to outline all of them, 30% is because of smoking and alcohol use. 18 to 20% are because of chronic infections, especially in poor countries, or I would say developing countries, where hepatitis B and HPV viruses are common. 30 to 35%, a big 1/3 of the percentage of cancers are because of an unbalanced diet. That means there could be many cancers which can be only controlled well with diet, and you have high glycemic carbohydrates, too many calories leading to obesity and lack of physical activity. It is beyond the scope of this particular timeline which I am talking that I can discuss with you about all the dietary factors, but yes, diet plays a very important role in protecting you from cancers. and 18 to 20% of the cancers is because of hormones. 1% or 2% is because of pollution or occupational hazards, but rest of the thing, as I said, 1/3 to more than 1/3 is smoking, alcohol, and unbalanced diet. Let's come to other factors. Now, other factors which are leading causes for the cancer is at some form of time breakdown in your immune system. Now, lot of people talk about that मेरी immunity low है, how can I improve my immunity? And these are the common questions that are asked to me as to how do I improve my immune status. Because why is immune status important is that your body has to be strong enough to fight any foreign body. Just the similar way as somebody is trying to threaten you and trying to hurt you and trying to punch you, you will raise your hand in retaliation, and you would try to avoid that person from punching you. Your body cells have to avoid the cancer cells from punching your body system. And of course, the risk of cancer increases with age. But when your immune system has been suppressed for a long time, what is the reason for your immune system to be suppressed? Maybe some form of infection, whether it is an HIV infection or a hepatitis B infection or a hepatitis C infection. You are taking some immunosuppressant drugs. There are so many patients who have developed cancer who have received chemotherapies, and chemotherapy itself causes suppression of the immune system temporarily. Unfortunately, you may be able to you may develop a cancer during that particular point of time, and there could be a cancerous process developing in your body which may come back at about 2 or 3 years down the line. Anxiety, depression, stress, sleep disturbances, unhealthy diet, and a combination of all these factors weaken the immune system. So I don't think I need to stress on the fact that आपको अपनी ज़िंदगी में stress कम करना है, sleep disturbances कम करने हैं. You must sleep at a regular time, maintain a healthy sleeping habit, maintain a healthy diet, and combine all these factors together to live a healthy life. Okay, so this is how it happens that when you develop an abnormal cell, and if you have a breakdown of your immune system, this immune system breakdown then causes a tumor. But if your immune system is activated, the abnormal cells get destroyed. Let's come to the next slide. How do we come to know if somebody has a cancer? This is something which is also very important, and there are certain warning signs that a cancer gives. Either a change in the bowel or bladder habit, which means what? That you have increasing diarrhea, you have increasing constipation, you have increasing disturbances in your regular habit. Now, is it something which should be for about a day or 2 days, or is it something where you may say that, look, doctor, I am constipated for about 10 years and I have been constipated for a long time? Answer is no. The word is it should be a recent change. That means all this while you were normal, but over the last 2 or 3 odd months, you have suddenly seen that there is a little bit of black color stool, there is a little bit of red color in your stools, or you have suddenly had a change, you have started having an increased frequency of your urine, or you have an increased frequency of your bowel habits. So all of these situations can get into a kind of change in the bowel habits. Then there is a sore throat that does not heal. That means you have developed a sore throat. It is likely that you are developing kind of a cancerous process in your body. There is an unusual bleeding or discharge. There is thickening or lump in the breast or elsewhere. There is indigestion or difficulty in swallowing. There is obvious change in a wart or a mole. That means you had a mole, you had a black spot, or you had some kind of a reddish spot in your body, and suddenly there is a change. It has started growing in size, and that is when you have developed. And or if there is a nagging cough or hoarseness in the voice, that means you have a sudden cough, and then that is the one which can possibly be the start of a lung cancer. Can all cancers be prevented? Sadly, the answer is no. But though we cannot prevent cancers because there are certain things which are not in our hand, but some can definitely be prevented, and the others can definitely be detected early. Now let's come to it. Sangyan, can we somehow still prevent this cancer? Avoid smoking, avoid chewing tobaccos. Second-hand smoke affects everybody. So it may not necessarily be that you are not smoking, but if your partner, अगर आपका husband, अगर आपका भाई अगर smoke कर रहा है, तो वो smoke की जो fumes हैं, जो smoke का जो धुआं है, वो आपके body में भी कहीं ना कहीं inhale होके जा रहा है, and you will be at risk of having a smoke-related lung cancer. So avoid smoking, avoid chewing tobacco. If you stop smoking, 1 to 20 cigarettes which are smoked per day, you have a risk of developing 10.3-fold lung cancers. But if you have stopped smoking, That means after 16 years, your cancer incidence decreases to 1.6 fold only. That means आपने 10 times आपका cancer incidence decrease कर दिया है. Same thing if you are having cigarettes of more than 20 per day, you are at a risk of 21 times increased risk of cancers of lung, but then that comes down to only 4 times, which is still a very high number though. But आपको cigarette smoking quit करना ही होगा. So you have to quit smoking so as to reduce your risk for cancers of the lung. Fruits and vegetables decrease the cancer risk. Cancer death rates can be low and declined by up to about 20% if everyone consumed 5 fruits and at least 5 vegetables a day. That means a combination of fruits and vegetables. You may be having 3 vegetables, 2 fruits, 3 fruits, 2 vegetables. Try and see as much of good food, as much of seasonal fruits, as much of organic vegetables which are free of pesticides, which are free of any kind of chemical which have been put in. You see that there are a lot of strawberries which come into the market and they are bright red in color. Actually, some kind of chemicals or some kind of coloring agents are used so as to make it attractive so that people should come and buy it. There are even mangoes, and there are even certain watermelons which are pumped with some kind of a sugar syrups. So just make sure that you have a good organic, and if you have your good somebody known to you have a farm produce who can vouch that yes, we will not be able to test each and every fruit, but then or a vegetable, but then at least the concept that that there are organic foods which are available which are not treated with pesticides or kind of any kind of chemicals, that should be good for your health, because all these chemicals or non-organically processed foods are definitely harmful to your health. Avoid substances which are canned. We see there are a lot of people who are having these kind of canned fruits and canned juices. I think those also contain some kind of chemicals for preservation. Preservation for food integrity is fine, but we don't know if the preservatives are really causing any major harm to your body, and a long-term intake can be problematic in these situations. Why am I saying that you should have good fruits and good vegetables a day? Because there are cancer fighting substances in them which are antioxidants, which are the dietary fibers, carotenoids, flavonoids. For example, simple tomatoes can have a good amount of flavonoids when you are consuming it. Just make sure that they are cooked well, or just make sure that they are washed well before you are consuming it. And if you can have a good organic produce, why not have consumption of these kind of fruits and vegetables? Limit your alcohol intake to no more than. Now people will ask me, doc, can we avoid alcohol? Should we complete alcohol? Can we just take a little bit of alcohol? 2 standard drinks per day is okay. 1 standard drink per day for females is okay. What does 1 standard drink mean? That means half a pint of beer or a single measure of the spirit, which is just about 30 ml, and a small glass of wine should be fine. Should it be taken per day? Should it be taken per week? I would say if not absolutely addicted to it, try and limit to twice in a week, which should be much more better. So I'm not telling you to cut down on your alcohol completely, but the more you take, as I told you, your liver is not able to handle that burden of alcohol, and you must reduce your alcohol consumption. Reduce your skin exposure to sun. Now this is also important. Okay, when we are going out, what is the risk of skin exposure to us? You must try and be in the sun during the morning hours, which is generally between 7 o'clock to about say 9 o'clock, because that are the excuse me, that are the good rays of the sun. We don't have the harmful ultraviolet and scorching sun to affect our skin cells. So generally between 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock, the sun is really very scorching, and they can harm our skin, and they can cause a lot of ulcers onto the skin which you cannot see by your naked eye, and that can be producing some kind of skin cancers. As I was telling you, that people who are used to going at beaches and taking suntan treatment, उन लोगों में there can be high risk of sun cancers. How do we avoid it? आपको sun protection cream use करनी है. If you are going out in sun, you must make sure that your sun protection screen or sunscreen, what you call, should be of SPF 15 or above. Once you have these SPF 15 or above, it definitely will try and protect you, but that does not mean that you keep on going into the sun at that time. Carry an umbrella if at all you want to avoid sun exposure, and plus have your sunscreen protection for you. That will be good to protect yourself from skin cancers. We are already a little dark skinned people. If there are certain cancers which are developed, we don't come to know easily. This is more common in people who are white skinned or who are fair, where they can make out that there is a slight change in a particular area of the skin, and इन लोगों में हमको पता पड़ जाता है कि शायद ये skin cancer develop हो रहा है. But in our normal complexion, with the complexion that we have in India, it's difficult to realize that whether we are able to pick up skin cancers early. Second thing, be active very often. Now, what does that mean? Exercise for 30 minutes or more for at least 4 days a week. You need not do it every day. 4 days in a week is fine. There are people who are at an elderly age group where they cannot do active exercises. Simple terms like walking for about 30 minutes for about 3 or 4 days in a week should be good enough. Many of elderly people are not able to walk because of problems of the knee, because of certain other things. Even a simple stroll is fine, but the idea is to be out of the house and walk around at least in the fresh air. Don't get restricted within your houses. I know that we are going through tougher times in this corona pandemic, but then if you can try and keep your windows open, try and make some move around in the house. That is also important. Make sure that if you are also moving around in the house, just as a matter of caution for your legs, you should wear your sport shoes and move around, because you are not walking on the ground which is softer. You are walking on hard surfaces or tiles, and that can give you bad pain in your heels and the knees. So just, this is not related to cancer, but this is just a routine advice that if you do that, much better. For children, engage them in some or the other form of physical activity at least once in a week or twice in a week outside. Let them play on their own. They may not master the subject, but let them play, whether it's a volleyball, whether it's a basketball, whether it's a football, it's a lawn tennis, but try and expose them to some outdoor game. It's not that you make them go out of the house and just keep them playing table tennis, which is again an indoor game. Expose them to some of the outside games, which they will be more healthier. Okay, now reduce your or burn that flab. That means you have to try and cut down your obesity. Of course, alcohol is big contributor to obesity, and you must try and avoid taking alcohol, but reduce your obesity and cut down that flab, that extra muscle or extra fat mass, which you have around your tummy or your belly, whatever you may call it. Now, that also kind of gives protection against cancer. Now, there are certain vaccines. We are all waiting for our most important vaccine during these corona times. We are looking forward to this vaccine. Why? Because vaccines can decrease the viruses. They have been known to decrease the incidence of viruses. So if you take the classic example of an hepatitis B vaccination, which was done in the United States between 1982 to 2008, if you see universal vaccination for infants, that हर बच्चे को hepatitis B की vaccine दी जाती थी, and where the incidence of hepatitis B was keeping on rising, at some point of time when the vaccine was introduced, here the trials were introduced, and here the vaccine was introduced for everybody. And if you see the downtrend of line, that now there is incidence of hepatitis B is definitely on the decline. So hepatitis B vaccine has definitely helped. The same thing I can say for cervical vaccine. There are certain cervical cancer vaccine, that means that are protective against the human papilloma virus. So if you see studies do recommend that cervical cancer vaccine should be given to all females. Now, the problem is that there is a lot of marketing which goes on as to whom to give, whom not to give. Ideal cervical cancer vaccine should be given before this first sexual intercourse. So that means somebody, your females who are in the age group of between 13 to say 16 years of age, I think they are the ideal candidates. But then there are a lot of researches which are still ongoing in this field. We do not have 100% answers. I think you must definitely talk to your gynecologist for all of this, and they will be able to tell you, because people have been giving even at 25 years of age, even at 30 years of age. We really don't know. Cervical cancer can be caused because of 15 or 14 different virus strains. Vaccine will prevent you from the 2 or 3 common strains, but actually out of that 15, these 2 or 3 common strains are the most common to give you a cancer of the cervix, and the HPV vaccination can definitely prevent you against those common things which can cause the cervical cancers. So recognize your symptoms early. What I am trying to stress on, that you must recognize your symptoms early, and screening is the best way to recognize symptoms early. Now, what do I mean by screening? Screening means trying to detect your cancers early. And how do you detect that whether you have got cancer early? For somebody who is having tobacco, somebody who is smoking cigarette, you will realize that you are not able to open your mouth. For example, if you look at this picture, ये आदमी का मुंह नहीं खुल रहा है. आपका पहले मुंह बहुत बड़ा खुलता था, and now your mouth is opening only to this much. That is because of a submucosal fibrosis which is developing inside, and you know for sure that this submucosal fibrosis will definitely lead to some kind of a cancerous process later on. This is a warning sign. So any lump or sore that does not heal, that means that could be an ulcer in the mouth, that could be an ulcer on the breast, that could be an ulcer on the leg, that could be an ulcer in the stomach, but it's not healing. A sore throat which you have for a longer time is not going, can indicate that probably you are having a cancer of the voice box. If you are having a persistent difficulty in swallowing, you are able to otherwise swallow normally, and आज आप swallow नहीं कर सक रहे हैं किसी कारण की वजह से पिछले 2-3 महीने से, and you've been continuously losing weight, that means there could be a cancerous process which is going in the food pipe or in the stomach. So all of these can be the recognition patterns of cancers of the head, neck, and the chest area. If you have constant cough, if you start feeling breathless, you suddenly आपको ऐसा लग रहा है कि आप सांस नहीं ले पा रहे हैं, आपको सांस लेते समय बहुत दर्द हो रहा है, आप बार बार खांसी कर रहे हैं, आपकी वॉइस बराबर नहीं है, this could be a symptom of lung cancer. That does not mean you will have all this. These are common with even certain other viral infections, but that does not necessarily mean that these are cancers. Just consult your doctors, general practitioners, physicians, or whoever you know, and that is when they will be able to detect whether you have something of this particular sort there. Same thing with the gastrointestinal tract. Now this is a very complex thing. If we have something in the mouth, if we have some kind of pain in our throat, we are able to express this out. But something which is happening inside, which is my main area of specialty, that is the gastrointestinal tract cancers, you don't come to know. That is cancers of the food pipe, the stomach, small intestine, large intestine, cancers of the rectum. It's very difficult to know and find out of how these things are placed in the body, and that is how you recognize them early. That means, as I told you, difficulty in swallowing, discomfort in the food pipe, continuous heartburn, and at some point of time we will ask you to see a gastroenterologist. And what does the gastroenterologist do? Gastroenterologist एक दूरबीन का टेस्टिंग करते हैं जिसे हम एंडोस्कोपी कहते हैं, and that endoscopy is being put, this is a small camera which is attached to a tube, this goes through your mouth, goes into your food pipe, sees everything of inside, and then finds out that maybe there is a cancer at this particular area. And when they detect that there is something abnormal, then उस चीज़ का थोड़ा सा एक छोटा सा टुकड़ा ले लेते हैं जिसको हम बायोप्सी कहते हैं, और वो बायोप्सी जब पैथोलॉजिस्ट स्टडी करते हैं और हमको एक अंदाज़ा मिल जाता है कि हो सकता है शायद इसमें कैंसर है. सो इट इज़ सम फॉर्म ऑफ बायोप्सी और अ पैथोलॉजी बैकअप जो हमें बहुत ज़रूरी हो जाता है टू डायग्नोज दैट दिस इज अ कैंसरस प्रोसेस और नो. क्लिनिकली वी कैन ओनली सस्पेक्ट that you have a cancer, but diagnosis is by a biopsy. So there are a lot of myths which are going around that biopsy will cause a cancer to spread. Please understand that only when we have a doubt that the cancer is already formed and it is in a process that it may spread, we take a biopsy and prove it to you that this is a cancer. Otherwise, without having proofs, we cannot treat you. So biopsy becomes a must. So don't be scared of biopsy. The earlier the biopsy done, the better is for your diagnosis. If you keep on delaying your biopsy in the situation that you feel that no, it is going to cause my cancer to spread, believe me, instead of the first stage, you will come to me with the third stage of cancer. There are certain intestinal cancers. So intestines are very big now, very long enough. And when you have a long enough intestine, you really don't know where the cancer is developing, but how it develops is very important. You develop certain outpouchings in the intestine, something like small mushrooms which kind of develop in the inner lining of the intestine, which are called as polyps. And these polyps can be from very small, very tiny millimeter size to few centimeter size. And when you develop these particular polyps, these polyps go through a change. That means they are small, then they become large, then they get certain abnormality inside, and then they develop what we call in our language as adenocarcinoma. Remember my first slide, I told you these are carcinomas which arise from the innermost lining, and because of that, once they develop, they start spreading into the linings, and then they develop a frank cancer. So 20% of the population over the age of 50 years has these polyps. Patients with polyps are at 5 times higher risk of developing cancer. Patients with multiple polyps have 2.5 times greater incidence of developing a cancer than who have single polyps. So if you have a single polyp, your chance of cancer is high, but definitely lesser. But if you have multiple polyps, the chance that one of the polyps may become bad may become cancerous is much more higher. And then what is also important, that this progression which I said from this stage of adenoma to cancer can take about 5 to 10 years. There are many people who come to me with an intestine cancer and ask me that doctor, everything was normal, सब कुछ बराबर था, 6 महीने पहले तक सब कुछ खा पी रहे थे, सडनली पता नहीं कैसे हो गया. Nothing is sudden. The body always gives indications. We have to recognize that indications. So please do not neglect your symptoms. The moment you have symptoms, consult. I'm sure that there are many doctors who will have their head over their shoulders, who will be able to diagnose. Don't go to anybody and everybody. Consult your specialist. If at all your doctors, you feel that you have to keep on going repeatedly to your doctors, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, fourth time, please think about it, that I am having the same problem again and again and I'm not getting the right kind of advice, suggestion. Can I consult somebody who is more senior and who's more expert? I'm not trying to tell you that आपको कैंसर होगा. I'm trying to tell you that आप rule out करिए that there could be a possibility of cancer. Prevention is better than cure. So how do we recognize that you have a colon cancer, which we call a colorectal cancer? That is change in the bowel habits. As I mentioned earlier, diarrhea, constipation is very common. I can have diarrhea, you can have constipation. There could be so many people who can have a lot of constipation for years together. But it is not today, it is not yesterday. It is about a frequent habit which has changed recently. That means recent is the word. You may be constipated for about 15 years of your life taking laxatives, but that does not mean that you will develop a cancer. What it is trying to say, if you are otherwise normal till about 3 months back or 4 months back, but you have developed constipation or diarrhea, now you have developed a blood in stool, you have a weight loss for which no reason can be ascertained, you are constantly getting tired, you are getting tired easily with the routine work. Earlier on, you used to go from here to office walking, say for example, or you were in the habit of walking for 2 kilometers, and suddenly now you're not able to walk for more than 1 kilometer and you feel tired. Find out why you are getting tired. It does not necessarily say you're cancer, but then that can be one of the other association. Find out that along with the tiredness, is your body also trying to hint at you for something more. Try and get tested, try and do some kind of checkups, and your doctor will be the best to determine of whether you are developing a cancer. So same thing like the endoscopy, what we do through the mouth, we do what is called as colonoscopy. That means we put in a scope from the bottom and we go all the way into the intestines, all the way here up to the area of the appendix to actually see what is inside, and what looks over a polyp like this looks like this, what looks in this picture above looks like a cancer over here. So these are the situations, and the best form of screening for colon cancers, which we have actually forgotten over a period of time, is the stool occult blood test. That means आप आपका stool test कराइए. Routine stool test करने में ही आपको पता पड़ जाता है कि उसके अंदर blood है या नहीं है. Of course एक stool test के ऊपर ये value नहीं पता पड़ जाती है. कम से कम 2 या 3 stool test over the 2 or 3 weeks. It is better that 3 अलग अलग टाइम पे आप आपका stool test कराएं. We will be able to get an idea that whether we really need to screen you excuse me, because it is difficult to put in a colonoscope for each and every patient who comes with a stool occult blood. So clinician has an important role in determining whether you really need a colonoscopy or no. Now come to a situation in females which is very, very common, and that is called as the breast cancer. Now if you see this particular picture, this is the side view of a breast, where these are your bones of the chest, this is your muscles, and then this breast is basically nothing but adipose tissue, जिसको हम common language में fat बोलते हैं. So these are multiple bags of fat which are there in the breast. Each bag को एक कनेक्शन मिला हुआ होता है, जिस कनेक्शन को हम डक्ट्स बोलते हैं, और वो बैग में से मिल्क सेक्रेट होता है और वो इन डक्ट्स के रूट के थ्रू आता है निपल की तरफ, एंड फ्रॉम देयर द चाइल्ड इज एबल टू फीड थ्रू दिस निपल. सो दिस इज अ नेचुरली डेवलप्ड ब्रेस्ट इन अ फीमेल्स बॉडी. मेल्स में भी ब्रेस्ट होता है बट इतना डेवलप नहीं होता है. सो दैट ऑल्सो मीन्स दैट अगर मेल्स में भी ब्रेस्ट है तो मेल्स आर ऑल्सो एट एन इक्वल रिस्क ऑफ डेवलपिंग ब्रेस्ट कैंसर्स. ये ब्रेस्ट बहुत सारे ब्लड वेसल से जुड़ा हुआ रहता है इस तरह से, और बहुत सारे लिम्फेटिक वेसल से जुड़ा रहता है, जो हमारे प्रोटेक्टिव जो पुलिसमैन जिसको बोलते हैं, और नॉट्स जिसको बोलते हैं, जिसको हम मेडिकल लैंग्वेज में नोड्स बोलते हैं, नोड्स से जुड़ा हुआ रहता है. सो ब्रेस्ट कैंसर इज amongst the leading cause of cancers in women. Incidence between the urban and the rural population, we are having almost about 27 to 30 new cases per 1 lakh women per year, and incidence in rural Maharashtra is only 8 to 10 per 1 lakh population. That means अगर आप देखेंगे तो breast cancers are actually getting more common in people living in metropolitan cities, people more in the corporate world. We are seeing more and more women. If that is the case, if there was lack of awareness, then breast cancers, why should it be less? If it is a hormonal influence only, why should it be less in villages? Why should it be more in the cities? Because females are females, then should not be a difference if there is a hormonal pattern. But the problem is, depending upon how much we are able to regulate the hormonal pattern, the incidences of breast cancers are high in cities. For example, you can see a classical example in Mumbai. So, who is at a risk of breast cancer? Any female, of course. As I said, males can also develop. Aging is another risk factor. A relative, like hereditary, which I mentioned, whether it's a mother, sister who has earlier had a breast cancer, has is been an increased risk. Menstrual history, early onset of menstrual history, late menopause, childbirth after age of 30 years. That means your hormonal exposures are going for a longer time. Then there is BRCA1 and BRCA2. These are hormones, and this is a hormonal influence which you or me don't have a control on. It is basically how your body makeup is or composition is. Obesity, hormonal replacement therapy, and lifestyle. These are all women who are at risk of breast cancers. So if you see, how do you determine that the breast cancers? Commonly, people come to us saying that they have felt a lump or a thickening of the breast and there is no pain in the breast. There are some people who come to me saying that there is a discharge or bleeding in the breast. There are very less number of people who come to me saying that, look, my nipple is inverted, nipple inversion ho raha hai sir. But many, I would say 50% of the people who are pregnant, at that point of time, they may have a nipple inversion. That does not mean that they have a breast cancer. Nipple inversion is not a sign of breast cancer. But sometimes if there is a cancer which is developing inside the breast, it pulls the nipple inside. And that is why a recent onset, if your nipple was out earlier on, which was a regular nipple, it was fine, but recently आपका nipple has started getting inverted, and this inversion of nipple is one of the signs of cancer. In younger females, it's very common that there is nipple inversion, so you don't need to be scared about it. Just feel for it, and if you feel that there is any kind of a lump inside, you should be able to consult your doctor. If there is any kind of major redness in and around the breast, or a change in the color or appearance of the black portion around the nipple, which is called as areola, in that situation, there could be a possibility of cancers of the breast. So what should you do? You are the best person. आप खुद सक्षम हैं breast cancers find out करने में by doing what is called as breast self-examination. You know your breast well. See yourself in the mirror. Feel for your own breast. You will come to know all the answer. So that means when you are having in a shower, and these are kind of pamphlets which are available even on the internet, you can of course refer to these slides in the video later on, and you have to examine your breast while you are in shower. You have to examine your breast in the mirror with your arms up, down, or arms by the side. You should lie down and feel for your breast, and by what is called as the palm of the hand. You cannot press it with the fingers, but you should press it with the flat of your hand, because if you press it with fingers or you pinch it, everything will feel a lump. So don't do that. You must press it with the palm of the hand. अपने हाथ को सीधा रखिए और हाथ को बिना मोड़े या बिना पिंच किए अपने ब्रेस्ट को फील करिए. That is the point of time आपको पता पड़ेगा कि whether there is any nipple discharge or any kind of lump which is there in the breast, and then you consult your doctor accordingly. So before you also do that, a lot of hospitals have screening modalities, and by screening, what do we mean is that when you go for your health checkups or when you go for your screening, you do what is called as a breast self-examination, but mammography will add to your screening. That means average size of a lump which is found by a first mammogram. That means if you have never done a mammogram earlier, mammogram is nothing but doing an X-ray where a lady's breast is kept between the X-ray machine. There is of course some amount of compression. You may feel a little bit of pain, but it is a one-time affair which you don't have to do very frequently. You are able to detect certain changes in the breast. Now, how frequently you do is what is important. Should we do annual mammography? Should we do 2 years mammography? The incidence of breast cancer is high between 40 to 45 years of age, and mammograms are much more helpful in that. We are also seeing incidences in females who are younger than 40 years of age in our country. So beyond 35, between 40, we would recommend that at least once, at least at some point of time during this age, you must try and do your health checkup, which should include a mammogram. And once it is normal, maybe you can carry it every 2 years. It is not necessary for an annual mammogram. But yes, somebody, if she has a high risk of breast malignancy, especially in the family, I would recommend that go for an annual mammogram beyond 45 years of age. So annual health checkup, which should also include your mammogram every year, is much more better in these situations. So I think mammography, I cannot stress more than this. What we do, what as doctors we see in the mammogram, that we see certain areas. If you see a very regular contour, or if you see something which is like a star shape appearance, doctors saksham hai find out karne mein ki ye possibility hai. Though at mammography we cannot say for sure by 100% that yes, this is a cancerous process. What we detect is abnormality. So जब एक abnormality detect हो जाती है, उसको lightly नहीं लेना चाहिए. या तो doctors आपको advise करेंगे constant follow up करिए, या there are procedures in which we can do what is called as wire localization, कि हम उसके अंदर एक पतली सी वायर डाल के वो एरिया को, बिकॉज वो ना आपको फील हो रहा है ना डॉक्टर्स को फील होता है, और उस एरिया को फिर निकाले कैसे, जो चीज़ दिखती नहीं है उसको निशाना नहीं बना सकते हैं. तो क्योंकि वो अल्ट्रासाउंड में दिख रही है, तो वो अल्ट्रासाउंड या एक्सरे में बेस्ड एक मैमोग्राफी में वहाँ पे एक छोटी सी वायर डाली जाती है, और वो वायर को फॉलो करते करते डॉक्टर्स वो लंप को निकाल देते हैं और पैथोलॉजी एग्जामिनेशन के लिए भेज देते हैं. दिस इज़ द अर्लीस्ट वे दैट यू कैन डिटेक्ट ब्रेस्ट कैंसर्स, एंड अर्लीस्ट वे दैट यू कैन क्योर एंड रीच अ क्योर फॉर ब्रेस्ट कैंसर्स. Okay, I will not go into these technical details of what is cancer, but cancer of cervix. Cervix is nothing but the mouth of the uterus. यूट्रस का जो माउथ है उसको हम सर्विक्स बोलते हैं. एंड जिस हिसाब से मैं बोल रहा था कि कैंसर सर्विक्स के लिए वैक्सीन्स भी अवेलेबल हैं. सर्विक्स का कैंसर होने का कारण ह्यूमन पैपिलोमा वायरस है. दैट मीन्स एक प्रकार का वायरस वहाँ पर आता है. बट वो वायरस कहाँ से आता है? बिकॉज ऑफ सेक्शुअल relationships, and it is not a single thing, it is because of multiple sex partners. So it is likely that you would have had multiple sex partners. We cannot blame you or your partner completely for it, but then these are the patterns that we are seeing, that multiple sex partners have tendency to spread this human papilloma virus at your cervix area, and because of which unprotected sex can be a problem, and you can develop an human papilloma virus related disease there, and because of that thing it will develop into a cancer of the cervix at that particular area. So for all these, how do you recognize that? When you have an abnormal bleeding, or when you have a bleeding after your sexual intercourse, sometimes you can have a bad discharge, which is a foul smelling, or some kind of a blood stained discharge. At that point of time, you must consult your gynecologist earlier on. They can do some kind of what is called as curettage or some kind of biopsy to find out कि वहाँ पर cancers हैं कि नहीं हैं. And the simplest form is what they do, what is called as a pap smear test. बहुत लोगों ने पैप स्मीयर सुना होगा. पैप इज एक्चुअली पापानिकुलर स्टेन, जो एक पर्टिकुलर स्टेन यूज होता है टू फाइंड आउट वेदर द सेल्स आर abnormal or not, and that pap smear test must be done by every woman who is beyond the reproductive age group. That आपका reproduction age group चला गया है at 45-50 years of age, you are at a higher risk of developing this virus because of whatever reason, not necessarily a multiple sexual partners, but because of a low immunity in the body, you can develop this HPV virus, and because of that you may develop what is called as a cervical cancer. So pap smear test becomes important for females. Many females are reluctant that, I don't want an internal examination, I don't want a pap smear test, but believe me, it is for your good. Doctors don't benefit anything out of it by just doing your test. Doctors are trying to find out to make sure that you are remaining healthy without developing anything in the future. So what is my cancer risk? Do I have a risk of cancer? Is again the question which is asked. You don't need to go to any astrologer, you don't need to read horoscopes, you don't need to find out from your friends just because they have cancer, and you don't need to get into panic attacks just because somebody else had a cancer. Cancer is not contagious. If your family member has a cancer, by telling them that I will not touch you, or by telling them that you remain secluded in a room, is not the answer. Support the person, because they are also going through a lot of psychological issues when they develop a cancer. So what is my risk of cancer? I really don't know, but I know that I can prevent my cancer by trying to avoid my villains. The villains of smoking, the villain of pollution, the villain of alcohol, the villain of obesity, trying to follow a good sleep pattern, good exercise pattern. I think we will have not a major control in trying to stop the spread of a cancer, but then what is harmful should be known. Just the same way you will not touch a boiling pot of water because you know it will harm you and it will burn your skin. Don't touch cigarettes. Don't consume alcohol in too much quantity. Eat your diet in a very limited fashion. Eat healthy food is what is important. Exercise and stay healthy. Avoid sun exposures between 8 o'clock, between 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock, which is a scorching sun. And then you must remember that 40% of the cancers can be prevented by this way. Just maintain a good healthy diet, be physically active, and prevent infections that can cause cancer. So if your immunity is strong, you don't need to take medicines for immunity. You really don't need to go hunting onto the internet and look out for the literature and look out for special foods that will boost your immunity. No, every fresh fruits and vegetables will have good amount of antioxidants. You don't need to take vitamin tablets. You don't need to take extra tablets. There are many people who are taking vitamin C tablets for a longer period of time. Have lime juices in the day. There are citrus fruits in a day. You have lemon, which is commonly available. You have 2 glasses or 3 glasses of lime juice in a day. Why do you want to spend money on that synthetically produced vitamin C capsules or tablets? So cancer can be detected early by being aware about the possibility. One should not fear detection of cancer, but you must fear the delay in detection. आपको ये नहीं भूलना चाहिए कि आप डरिए मत कि मुझे कैंसर डिटेक्ट हो रहा है. आप खुश रहिए कि आपका कैंसर डिटेक्ट हो गया और आपने डिले नहीं किया है कैंसर को डिटेक्शन करने में, बिकॉज आपको जैसे ही पता पड़ा आपने डॉक्टर्स की सलाह ली है एंड वो डॉक्टर्स आपको गाइड कर रहे हैं टू ट्राई एंड टेक केयर ऑफ योर कैंसर्स इन द बॉडी. What I'm trying to tell you is early detection will increase the chance of your cure. It will reduce the side effect of treatment. Believe me, if your cancers are detected early, everybody knows that we have surgery, we have chemotherapy, we have radiation, and nobody wants to go through chemotherapy. And because chemotherapy is harmful, हमने बहुत लोगों से सुना है. Problem is that we don't want to give you harmful medicines. We want to give you medicines to take care of already which is harming your body. So the chemotherapy is not to harm you. Of course, there are side effects. We are not trying to say कि chemotherapy medicines लोगे तो side effects नहीं होंगे. There are side effects, but it is as way of as if you are aging, and वो aging का एक side effect है कि अगर आपके बाल सफ़ेद हो रहे हैं, so that is a matter of aging. So same thing is with the medicine. So when you are getting medicines, there could be a little bit of hair loss, but I don't think you must get worried about it. Your hair will come back. So don't worry about the side effects. What I'm trying to tell you is that if you detect early, that increases your chances of cure. It increases your chances that you may not have to take chemotherapy. You may not have to go through long procedures. There are certain cancers which come at a stage और इतने बड़े हुए रहते हैं that apart from removing that cancer, we have to remove some other organs. Say for example, one of the cancer of the intestine, if it has a large intestine, if it has also caught the small intestine, हमको small intestine भी cut करना पड़ जाता है. But अगर यही cancer अगर जल्दी detect हुआ, तो we will only cut your small portion of a large intestine rather than cutting any other organ. So it enhances organ conservation. The classic example is breast cancer. अगर आपका लंब जितना छोटा है, वो breast cancer के लंब को हम आपकी breast preserve कर सकते हैं. We don't need to remove your entire breast. लोगों के मन में feeling है कि मुझे breast cancer हो गया, मेरा पूरा breast निकालना पड़ जाएगा, लोग मुझे क्या बोलेंगे एंड मैं सोसाइटी को क्या बताऊंगी और कितने लोग मेरे बारे में बात करेंगे कि मैं कैसे दिखूंगी. सो ये सब फैक्टर्स माइंड में आएंगे ही नहीं. इफ़ यू डिटेक्ट अर्ली, वी आर एबल टू प्रिजर्व द ऑर्गन एंड आपके ट्रीटमेंट कॉस्ट रिड्यूस होंगे. द मोर नंबर ऑफ ट्रीटमेंट सेशंस दैट यू गो थ्रू, आपके ट्रीटमेंट के कॉस्ट उतने ही ज़्यादा बढ़ते जाएंगे. सो इट रिड्यूसेस योर ट्रीटमेंट कॉस्ट. सो कैंसर इज़ पोटेंशियली क्योरेबल only if it is detected early, and it can be detected early provided you are aware about it. So from this entire presentation of mine, even if you have taken 20%, एक 20% भी अगर आप ये समझ गए हैं, तो make sure that the health is in your hands. You have to take care of yourself. Be aware about your body. Forget about what your neighbor is doing, what other people are doing. Be aware about your body. Take control of your own body and manage your own body well. Eat well, sleep well, do some physical exercise, stay safe. You must discuss with your healthcare professionals. Of course, sometimes you do run out of luck. This man is trying to protect himself from the sharks over there, but then there are vultures on top of it. Even if he gets protected by the shark, the vultures are going to eat him. So unfortunately, there are some cases of cancers where we know of that the person has been living otherwise very healthy, being absolutely normal. You still have been getting into some form of cancers. We really don't have answers to it. I would call it as a lottery bad luck कि एक पन्नों में से कहीं एक पन्ना ऐसा निकल गया जिसमें शायद मेरा नाम हो. But then there are certain indications which your body has given you earlier on. So you don't come with a blockage of your intestine suddenly. your intestine is been getting blocked for the last 2.5-3 months, which you have neglected or which you have avoided, thinking that ये कहीं normally होगा, शायद कुछ बाहर का खा लिया होगा. But then there are so many people who come to me with cancers which are definitely in the 3rd stage plus. We want to try and catch these cancers earlier than that, and maybe in the 1st stage, so as to give you a better treatment. Nobody is more than happy but doctors, who are more than happy to help you at this particular point of time if your cancer is detected early. We want you to be aware. We want you to spread this awareness. If you have liked this video, try and communicate this to your friends, try and communicate this to your colleagues, and whenever they get a chance to spare about half an hour or 45 minutes to see this particular talk, maybe there is somebody whom we are able to help through these kind of talks and this kind of information. Thank you so much to the Cancer Association and Research Foundation team for giving this opportunity and this platform for making big awareness onto the entire community for cancers. And with that, I must thank all the audience as well as the people who have helped me out for making this presentation reach to you people. MumbaiCancer.com is my website, and you can comfortably go on this website. The website has been prepared taking all of you into consideration. It is not for doctors. It is basically a website for patients or for certain other healthcare providers who want to understand some more about cancers. When you stroll down in the services, you will find out that there are various type of information of cancers, and it gives you an information. It will not try and tell you what is your treatment. Google and the internet has a big portal of information. बहुत सारी information देगा Google, but आपके लिए शायद वो information incorrect हो, आपके लिए शायद वो treatment attitude incorrect हो. Lot of patients ask me whether homeopathic treatment or Ayurvedic treatment कहीं ना कहीं whether it will help. I really don't know. I really don't understand that science. I will be able to tell you what I can offer to you. Rest, I think you have to take a lot of judgment issues along with your family members and discuss with your doctor as to what should be the best form of treatment for you. If there are any questions, I will be happy to take these questions. Before I take these questions, I will also like to take that opportunity that we as doctors are trying to spread more and more awareness. We are trying to tell you that don't be scared. I discussed all the problems with you when it came to adult form of cancers. बड़े लोगों में जितने भी cancers होते हैं, but then बच्चों में भी cancers होते हैं, and there are pediatric people, pediatric doctors who are able to help out in this kind of cancers in younger children, where we feel really sorry that they are just at the start of their life and they are developing cancers. We have one of our eminent doctors and colleagues, Dr. Nisha Iyer, who is a pediatric hematologist who deals with blood cancers of children. She is attached to the Asian Cancer Institute, and she will talk on a pediatric oncology awareness program, I think next Wednesday, which is about 26th of August. With that, I should sign out from here, but I will remain on the screen. I will switch off my slides, and I will be happy to take questions if at all there are any questions from my learned audience over there. I will be also happy to have your suggestions. That do you think that there was something which was missed by me? Do you think I need to add on something to give you some more information? And I will be very, very happy to help you out in this. Thank you very much, and I am looking forward to receiving your questions. All right. So do we have any questions over here? Let me just quickly check. I have got some amount of questions here. I would like to thank all of you for giving me those comments for these informative talk. Thank you, Mishra ji. Thank you, Gautam, Ashok Kera ji, Ved Singh, Rishita, Pooja. Thank you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, now there's a question. Does consumption of sugar products or sweet products increase chances of developing cancer? I think this is a very, very common question that people want to know from me, whether sugar consumption can increase the risk of cancers. If you understand the philosophy behind what we do is called as PET scans. So when we do PET scans, The PET scans basically use a sugar-based solution or a dye, which you can call the PET, the FDG glucose. Why do we use this FDG glucose? We use the FDG glucose for the fact that the cancer cells have a strong ability to pick up this FDG by the cancer cells. So by that philosophy, every cancer cell is possibly surviving on glucose, right? So it is correct that glucose has a high affinity for cancers, but does that mean that whatever sugar, sweets, or any kind of food that we consume, will it cause cancers? Answer is these are not the similar form of molecular level of sugar which is directly related to cancer. So yes, you can have your sweets as well as your diet in moderation. Where all will you control sweets? Will you control sweets in your potatoes? Will you control sweets in your this thing? These are different form of sucrose sweets which are digested by our system. So I would not say that you must have no sweets at all. There are so many patients who tell us, and there are so much information on the internet that sweets are harmful. I don't think there is anybody who can prove it to me that if these are the patients with cancers, I will keep 100 patients on this side and I will keep 100 patients on this side, and these 100 patients I will give everything which is sugar based, and these 100 patients I will not give everything sugar based, and give me a complete I would say a detailed analysis of how much is the risk of these patients developing cancer again. I don't think we have that data. So I don't think it is very right to say that sugar we should not eat sweets, or we should not just we should just stop sugars and stop eating all of that kind of a thing. Then I don't think so. There is a myth. Yes, you can take everything in moderation. You're not the one who is going to eat the sugary stuff every day, correct? You will want to have it once in a week. You would want to have on birthdays. You would want to have on some kind of occasions. I'm sure you must do that. Live your life. I must say that. Okay, the second question over here is which cancers are genetic? As I said, that there are a couple of cancers which are genetic. One of them is breast cancer. The second of them is colon cancers. There could be certain ovarian cancers, there could be certain skin cancers, prostate cancers are genetic. I think if that is all the information that you are looking at, these are the cancers. I don't think we have control on this, but we do have what is called as genetic analysis. So there are patients, especially the younger ones, who are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and if you develop cancers, there is a possibility that we can do genetic analysis to find out whether you have any hereditary pattern in your cancers. That means you go through a test from the saliva. You don't need to go through any major test. You just take a sample of your saliva and go through your salivary test, where it can give you different cell lines of cancers. And if there is a very strong cell line, maybe your family members may be tested for that. But I really don't know what next. If your family member, say for example, if you have a breast cancer and if you detect that there is a cell line or a germ line for a breast cancer, will your daughter definitely get a breast cancer? Do we want to become like Angela Jolie and just cut off both the breasts? Answer is no. We have to live with it. We really don't want to get into that particular scenario. So sometimes, by these genetic analysis, maybe we are doing a little more than probably trying to live with that psychology that yes, my family member may develop, and it becomes a very uncomfortable situation where we really don't know. But yes, so you need to understand that yes, certain cancers are genetic. You may not have a control on it. There is nothing in the gene cell line that you can control of to prevent a cancer. Just be aware about if at all your relative is developing some kind of similar complaints that possibly you thought that could have been the start of a cancerous process. So what you detected 2 years down the line or a year down the line, maybe they can detect it a little earlier on. Okay. Now, what are the symptoms of gastrointestinal cancer? This is one of the other question that is there. Now, gastrointestinal cancer is in the abdomen is a Pandora's box. As I said, a recent change in the bowel habits, which means you are having constipation or a diarrhea, which is of a recent, not that you are having it for last 8-10 years, but a recent change in the bowel habits, which has repeatedly causing problems to you. You are having blockages in your intestine. You are passing motions, but there is a blood in your motions. Many a times it is commonly because of piles, but most of the cancers are also being treated as piles. So many cancers have come to me in a 3rd stage and 4th stage where they have fortunately taken treatment from a doctor. Unfortunately, the doctor has possibly missed
because it has been treated only with piles. So just make sure that if you have persistent bleeding, get yourself tested from your general surgeon, and if they feel that there is a necessary for to do an endoscopy or a colonoscopy, get it done. Don't refrain from it. I know the tests may be slightly expensive. You may be spending about 100 rupees or 200 rupees with a general practitioner, and you may ask for a test which may cost 5,000 or 6,000 rupees. I think it is worth that investment. Doctors don't make money out of it. Please understand, they are trying to ensure that within 5,000, 6,000, if it can give you a mental satisfaction that you don't have a problem, we don't want to later on land up spending lakhs of rupees for a treatment of cancer. Cancer treatment is expensive, I understand that, but at the same point of time, prevention is in your hand. Is cancer hereditary? A grandma died of cancer of the food pipe. Answer is yes. You need to be you need to be careful about it. If somebody's grandmother has been died of food pipe, I have had various patients with cancers, and when I take a detailed history of these cancers, there is a possibility, or they always tell me that my grandmother had a food pipe cancer, my uncle had a lung cancer, or there are some patients who just come to me with a cancer, and when I question them, that is the point of time that they realize that they tell me that I think my grandfather had a pancreatic cancer. So this person may have a cancer of the stomach, and the grandfather may have a cancer of the pancreas. That doesn't mean that it is a hereditary cancer. It just says that there is a cancer cell line somewhere in the generations. Which, where, when, and how does it go, we don't know. Just because grandmother had a food pipe cancer does not necessarily mean the grandson or the granddaughter is going to develop a cancer. They may develop a cancer of the ovaries, they may develop a cancer of the breast. So, but that means that there is a genetic cell line which is somewhere getting into the family, but we really don't know of how it is passing, whether it is passing from male to female, female to male. We really don't know about it. But be aware about your symptoms. It's all about being aware about your own body. Do not neglect your symptoms. Any routine body checkup or screening to be done? Any suggestions? Yes. Routine body checkups. See, please understand, what are these health checkups which are happening in the hospital? The health checkups which happen in the hospital are looking at long-term diseases which carry on with you in life. That means diabetes, blood pressure, cholesterol. These are things which may start as early as 25 and 30 years of age. You don't die with it immediately. You carry on these diseases over a period of time till about 70, 80 years of age. And what happens is the hospitals basically are trying to look at these when they do your health checkups, when they do your cholesterols, because they know that over a period of next 20 or 30 years, these kind of things will develop your diabetes, will turn into your heart attack. So these are chronic ailments. So once you are aware about that, you are able to control yourself. Unfortunately, there is no test in your health checkups which can tell you that there is cancer. You have to go through screening modalities, and the screening modalities, what we have is some doctor during the health checkup have a physical checkup where the doctors in females can check your breast, where the gynecologists can have an internal examination and do a pap smear, where for a male there can be what is called a rectal examination. They can check for prostate. The doctors comes for symptoms of the prostate. You can check your oral cavity yourself by opening your mouth. If especially you know that you have been a smoker, you've been an alcohol, you know your body well. For females, breast self-examination. These are the things. There are many hospitals which have developed a test called as tumor marker test. Right? And when you have these tumor marker tests, an increase in the tumor marker, say for example a tumor marker CEA level, does that mean you have a cancer if the CEA level is abnormal? Answer is no. The tumor markers can give an indirect hint towards a cancerous process. That means if I get a patient who tells me, doc, I did this tumor markers test and my value which should be 4, it is now 6. Do you think I have a cancer? I would straightforward go for symptom testing. It's not just that your CEA level is representative. Somebody can come to me with a hemoglobin of 8, does not mean he's losing blood. It can also mean that he is poor in nutrition, where the nutritional requirement is not being adequate to this particular person, and because of which he's got a nutritional anemia rather than an anemia because of any particular disease or because of any particular illness, or for that matter cancer. So I hope that answers your question. Prostate cancers go undetected in men. Can you please stress on this point and give recommendations? So prostate cancers again don't go undetected in men. Please understand, prostate cancers really start with some kind of difficulty in urination at some point of time when it becomes big. but at many other point of times, as I said, that these are all organs which are in the Pandora's box. Yes, I do agree to some form of your question that they do get undetected. The point is, if at all you have an experience, just think about it. When did you last do your sonography if anybody in your family has got a prostate cancer? When you go to with your father for developing for seeing a doctor who has developed a prostate cancer, you must understand that how many health checkups or how many examinations did your father undergo before getting a prostate cancer? Or for that matter, when you are sitting with the doctor, start thinking, when did you last get yourself checked? So prostate cancers again don't go undetected. We are not detecting it for the fact that we are not recognizing our symptoms, or for the fact that we are trying to underplay our own self by thinking that I am otherwise normal, I don't have any problems, why should I spend money on getting my repeated self tests done? So I don't think these get undetected. You do have certain symptoms and indicators of the body. You need to look well. I think a visit to a health clinic or an annual checkup is much more important rather than trying to put in your mind that look undetected. There is a possibility that yes, you are undergoing through a health checkup. You did your checkup in March last year and you were otherwise normal, and doctor said annual health checkup, so you have developed in March this year, and from March to March maybe a prostate cancer has developed. Yes, I can say that it is a light kind of an undetected bad luck there, but during that last 4 odd or 6 odd months there will be some symptoms where you may find out. You have to be lucky enough that if your undetected cancer gets picked up early, the treatment is early. I hope that answered your question. Does immunization help in preventing cancers? Yes, for those who missed it, as I said, hepatitis B vaccine has been in the forefront to decrease the hepatitis B infection rates, and hepatitis B is a common cause of liver cancer. So vaccination against hepatitis B has decreased cancer risk. Vaccination against human papilloma virus has decreased cancer risk of cervix. There are no vaccines which have come to prevent cancers, because cancer is not one factor like a coronavirus where we are looking at only vaccines. Cancer can develop at any organ of the body, and they are different multitude of systems. As I said, alcohol, smoking, asbestos, pollution, genetics, hereditary, all kind of things. That vaccine cannot prevent all that. It is unlikely that you will have a vaccine where we may see suddenly one day a vaccine that prevents cancer. There are small researches which are going on in various institutes where people are trying to develop certain molecules which can kind of prevent certain kind of cancers, but they are not well authenticated. So till date we don't have any vaccine having cancers. Does stress play a role in getting any kind of cancers? Of course, yes, that was one of my slides. Stress does play a lot of role, because stress is something which governs your immune system. If you have a lot of stress for whatever reasons, you need to find out the reasons behind the stress. I always tell my people that if you have fever and if you have malaria, okay, you get a fever and the cause of the fever is malaria, just by taking paracetamol or just by treating your fever doesn't treat your malaria. You need to take medicines for malaria. So if stress is behind the causation of some kind of a cancerous process, maybe doctors will be able to help and treat you out with your cancerous process. They may not be able to help you out with the stress factors, which may also be a promoter for developing a spread of the disease. So as I said, these are not direct association. If you tell me that I am working from morning to evening, look at me. I am the most stressed. I think I have the stress of treating patients. I operate for about 6 to 8 hours. We sometimes don't have food at regular times. We sometimes don't sleep. We keep on getting calls from the hospital. Who can be more stressed than us when it comes to dealing with human lives? If our patient is not doing well in the hospital because of some reasons, we are more stressed. The patients feel that the doctor is least concerned, but believe me, every doctor is very, very concerned about his patient till the time the patient is not getting discharged in the hospital. If I have operated a patient, there is all the possibility that I have cut the intestines and joined the intestine and the patient can leak. There is a 1% possibility. I know my abilities, but then there are certain possibilities that we are stressed for the fact that we don't want the patient to leak, because a 10-day hospitalization can convert to 25 days and 30 days. There is going to be a stress of who's going to make the payments, how will the payments happen. We had given a word to the patient that we will take care of you well. Why are certain things happening? Believe me, the amount of stress that doctors goes or a surgeon goes through treatment, especially a cancer surgeon who goes through treatment, becomes very, very tricky. So I think I hope I have answered your question. Any follow-up test to be done after 5 years of colon cancer surgery? I am perfectly fine now. I hope this is one of my patients. But then I would say I generally tell all my people that 5 years is a good stopgap enough, that if I have treated you well, or if your doctor has treated you well for a good amount of 5 years and you've been healthy, you generally don't need any test specifically to that disease. That means you're not now following up with your CEA levels or colonoscopy levels or ultrasound only for detecting a recurrence of colon cancers, but you must go through a routine health checkup, right? A routine health checkup just to make sure that you're otherwise fine. You have got body, and God has given you a good chance to support you through these 5 years with the help of your doctors to kind of take care of you well, but then just make sure that you don't develop any lifestyle related diseases which may possibly affect your health with your weakened immune system. Specifically, if you've gone through cancers, you've gone through a chemotherapy or radiation treatment, you want to stay healthy, isn't it? Just do a health checkup once in a year is not bad. Okay. Side effects of hormonal tablets. I'm taking Premarin 0.3 milligram after laparoscopy. No. So as I said, that see, there are definitely indications for your cancerous process, or for a matter after your surgeries. Your doctors know it well. So doctors are not going to give you medicines for side effects. When we give you medicines, we see the benefits of the medicines versus the side effects of the medicines. At the cost of a 10% or 5% side effects, will you want to go through the loss of a 95% benefit? Put your money on stock market. If you put 100 rupees in your stock market or any investment, you don't put your money to lose your money, correct? You want that 100 to become 105, but you take a chance that there is a possibility of 5% or 10% loss, or you may possibly lose that 100%. Unfortunately, that is stock market. In this, we are trying to aim at situations where we are trying to give the best medicines with evidence-based approach, which is going to try and control any kind of development of some form of cancers or a recurrence of cancer in your body. So I don't think you must worry too much about your side effects of the medicines. Go by your doctor. Your doctor has tremendous experience on his shoulders, which has come from a number of years of his practice as well as his experience, and just go by it. Trust your doctors. Believe me, you will do well. Birth control, Femilon pill, advice for 3 months of ovarian cyst and irregular bleeding because of Mirena. IUD by a top gynac. He says it's okay for 3 months, but I have a family history of breast cancer, so I'm scared to take it. Please advise. So, just because you have a family history of breast cancer, I don't know what is your age. I'm sure you are at an age where you're looking at birth control, so I presume that you are anywhere between your 20s and 30s. So 3 months for ovarian cyst, I don't think that should really cause a problem. Your problem is that you are having some kind of an ovarian cyst disease, and it is a hormone related issue because of which you are continuously bleeding. So it's a hormonal problem, and we need to tackle these problems. See, what I'm trying to tell you is taking contraceptive pills or hormonal pills for an unwanted pregnancy. You are otherwise fine, fit, no problems whatsoever. But just because your lifestyle doesn't allow, or you are not mentally prepared, or for that matter, you have a lot of corporate social responsibility on your shoulders for which you cannot get pregnant, you can't be out of your job for 9 months, or for that matter, and you're taking long-term contraceptive pills for XYZ reasons, when you are otherwise normal. It's like taking paracetamol tablets when I don't have fever. I just keep on gulping paracetamols and gulping paracetamol just because I feel that I have a fever. Does not necessarily mean the same as what you have asked. I would not want to take your name over here, but I would just want to tell you that go and trust your gynecologist. You've mentioned that he's a top gynecologist. I'm sure he must be a top, or he or she must be a top gynecologist. But then these are the ways that the doctors deal with it. They put an IUD or a Mirena so as to prevent any kind of bleeding from the uterine linings, because ovarian cysts develop because of irregular hormonals, and what they are trying to do is they are only trying medicines for regularizing your hormone things. Now, it does not, as I said, it does not necessarily mean that by taking these 3 months of hormonal tablets, you will definitely have risk of developing cancers just because somebody in your family had breast cancer. No, I don't think so. Just keep your mind off it. Go ahead, take the treatment. I don't think you should be scared to develop a breast cancer. I hope I have taken care of most of the questions. I will still try and scroll if there are any more questions that can be seen over here. I don't see any more questions. Right, so I think with that I would want to end this sessions. I will stop here And of course, once you get onto this Facebook page, or for that matter mumbaicancer.com, you will get all of my information, you will get my emails. In case you have any particular question that you may want to forward it to me, please feel free to write to me on my email, and I will be definitely happy to answer them. I understand that you were 37 years of age. It's okay. Whatever I said still holds true irrespective of your age group. Just make sure that if you have your ovarian cysts which are not getting treated by 3 or 6 months, just make sure you consult and then have it removed if specifically you have completed your family. Thank you so much, and I wish all of you all the very best. Stay safe, stay healthy during these times. We will come back to normal. This phase is just going to pass away soon. Thank you very, very much. All the best to all of you.